What is going on YouTube? This is Kiwi Lord Gaming back again at y'all with another video. I thought I would talk about a topic that I've just been kind of thinking about recently. Have you ever broken up with a game, just thought to it or said to it, hey, it's not you, it's me. Maybe we should part ways and see other games. Traded it to a friend or someone or sold it down the line, and then you came to your head later down the line or a few years later, months later, whatever, and said, you know what, let's give things a second chance. Well, here's some games from my collection that I've given second chances to, and I'm glad I did. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to run through these and kind of just give a brief description. Okay, first of all, Beetlejuice for the NES. This pretty much needs no introduction. A lot of people know, hey, that's LJN, it's trash. Honestly, I don't think this game is trash. I honestly disregarded this game once I first saw the AVGN's video. And I played it on emulation and thought, this game is terrible. But I picked this up about a year ago and I was watching the LJN Defender kind of give an explanation of this game, and then I got to playing it about how he explained it. I'm like, that makes sense. And so I'm probably the only one who defends this game out there, but this is one, honestly, I'm glad I gave a second chance to, and I'm probably the only one who defends this one, but I really enjoy this. Next one is, I remember getting this when I first got my Xbox One. I still remember all the E3 hype and everything around this game, and I went into this game just super hyped. Just, this is going to be the next GTA killer and all this, and that. And that is Watch Dogs. And I remember playing this thinking, I'm just so disappointed. This feels like a slog. I don't want to finish this. I picked this up about a few months ago. I think I paid like $5 for it or so, and I just felt like I wasn't fair on the game. So I'm looking forward to going back to this. I mean, a lot of people have told me, well, if you just go back to it and you give it more of an open mind, then you'll probably enjoy it. So I'm thinking for what I paid for it, I'm looking forward to just going back and giving it another shot. Here's one. I remember playing this when I was a teenager, but I played the Super Nintendo version. Back in probably the early 2000s, there's a local place here where I live called Ralph's Records here in Lubbock, Texas, where I'm at. Back then you could buy Super Nintendo games 3 for $15 at the time. And so I picked up Bram Stoker's Dracula on Super Nintendo, and I knew nothing about it. I really liked the movie. So I played the game and I'm like, wow, this game is just terrible. What is it trying to do? Copy Castlevania? But about a year ago I picked this up on the Genesis and got to replaying it, and I'm like, you know what? I was awfully harsh on this game, and maybe I just didn't understand it, but for what it is, it's actually a pretty solid game. I really enjoy this one. Here's one. This one is kind of a mixed bag for me. I first played this on the 360 before my 360 got a red ring of death. Well, one of my 360s. I now have 2 of them, I believe, at the moment. So I got pretty far into this game, Eternal Sonata, which I think it is a great game. Don't get me wrong. My biggest complaint was at the time why I broke up with this game was I felt like the boss battles were way unbalanced. Like, you just had to grind and grind and grind just to get anywhere on this game, and just there was this stupid piano part at the end of the game I just could not get past to save my life. And then my 360 got the red ring of death, and well, one of my friends was telling me, hey, pick it up on the PS3. It's actually the better version. They fixed some things. So I picked this up not too long ago, and I've actually been enjoying this game again. This is actually one I recommend. It is a great RPG that you can get pretty good bang for your buck. One that I don't hear talked about too often anymore. Here's one. I remember my friend getting this in high school once the original Xbox came out. I went over to his house. He really liked this game. I just thought, it's nothing special. That is Blinx the Time Sweeper. Replayed this recently. I'm like, wow, this game's kind of cool. Not sure why I didn't like it, but I'm glad I really did give this one a second chance. Next one is, I remember, renting this from Blockbuster back in the day as a teenager. Early 2000s, the Ninja Turtles reboot. I was thinking, I'm not sure about that. A Ninja Turtles reboot. I grew up with the originals, and then just playing it, I'm like, it just doesn't have the same magic as the first ones. But, replaying it, I'm like, wow, this is really fun, especially with another person. This is one I actually like playing. Me and my wife like playing together. I do need to pick up the other two at some point in time. But, moving along. Okay. Banjo-Kazooie. Now, here's the thing with this one. I rented this when it first came out, and I don't know, I thought it had terrible camera angles. Just, I didn't really understand the whole mechanics of the game at the time. Just, it felt a bit confusing. So, I just completely disregarded the game as being terrible. I never wanted to play it again. But about a year ago, I picked this up, pretty good price, and I'm glad I did. I'm now about halfway through the game. It's now one of my favorite N64 games. I'm really glad I gave this a second chance. Here's one I don't see a lot of people talk about when it comes to puzzle games, but this is Zoop. Now, I remember getting this for Christmas one year, actually for the Genesis, and I thought to myself, Zoop, what the hell is that? I can't remember who gave it to me, like an aunt or uncle or something. But we all had that one year, just a random relative would give you a game or whatnot that you were just like, I don't know. And I kind of just shrugged it off. But like I said, this is one of those games that I picked up from that store I talked about, Ralph's Records, 3 for $15. And I'm glad I did. I really revisit this one time to time. It's just one of those fun and simple puzzle games that can get challenging. And it was about ported to everything, honestly. And this can honestly be picked up extremely cheap. Next, we got Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo. I remember getting this for Christmas when I got my Super Nintendo as a kid. I remember my parents were real excited to give me this one because I was really into Star Wars and they thought I would really enjoy it. And we all know that this game is just brutally hard, even on easy. And that's what deterred me away from this game for so many years. I've just disregarded this game as just unfair, punishing, unforgiving, I even said it at one time, just a turd of a game. Just because of its difficulty. But I went back, I gave it a second chance. Once you can get past its difficulty and kind of play, this is one of those games you got to play by its rules. But one I'm glad to have back in the collection. Okay, moving along, we got Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. When this came out, I kind of just thought, it's just a clone of X-Men Legends. Just disregarded it, just nothing special, nothing fancy. But I recently picked this back up on the Wii, and just been having a lot of fun with this. I'm really glad I gave this a second chance. Next is Zelda the Wind Waker. Well, this is Zelda the Wind Waker HD. I remember when the Wind Waker first came out to the GameCube, I was around 17. I was just turning 17 at the time. My mom actually pre-ordered it for me for my birthday. I remember going to pick it up from Kmart, and their truck didn't even come in, so I canceled my pre-order from there. Right across the street was Target, actually. And I took it home, played it. I'm not sure if it was the cel-shaded graphics, the slow sailing, I really don't know. I played about a quarter into the game, gave up, just disregarded it, said, you know what, it's time I see other games. This isn't for me. We're done. But when I picked up my Wii U a couple of years ago, this was the first game I picked up for it. And I'm really glad I did. Really, really glad I gave this a second chance. And finally, this is I'm going to talk about this series in general. This is just the Ezio collection of Assassin's Creed. I'm not saying to go out and buy this port of the game. It's actually not a very good port. it's kind of a sloppy port in my opinion. You're best off just buying the original versions of the game. But I believe Generation Pixel said it best that just when the first Assassin's Creed game came out, it just felt more of like a tech demo. And that's kind of like how I felt when I first played the game. And I honestly just disregarded the whole series in general after that. And I'm going to say a few years ago, I picked it up again and like just absolutely fell in love with the series. So let me know in the comments, what are some games that you've broken up with or parted ways with, but later on in life or down the line just came back and said, you know, I really enjoyed that. I'm not sure why I didn't give it the full chance or full opportunity. And until next video, I shall see you later. Have a good rest of your week.